guys, welcome back to Midnight Violets. Today I'm going to be doing something that I have been meaning to do for so long. I am doing a Makeup Revolution eyeshadow palette favourites. The reason I keep putting this off is because they keep bringing out new palettes and I think that it's a potential to go into this kind of video. So if that gives you some kind of idea, on the whole, I am a big fan of the Makeup Revolution palettes. I love the quality, I love the mixes of colours that they give, and I just love kind of the excitement that surrounds them as well. So let's just get going. These are in no particular order, by the way, they are just as and when they come. So first up is one of their Redemption palettes. This one here is the Mermaids versus Unicorns palette. When I found out this was being released, I got ridiculously excited because I don't know if I've ever kind of specifically said it, but you may have noticed my favourite eyeshadow colours are green, blue and purple. And if you can't see, green, blue, purples. So this is just like me and an eyeshadow palette if I want to wear coloured eyeshadow. I am wearing this kind of reddy maroon shade on my lid today. I'll be honest with you, I've never picked out and based a look around that colour, but actually I really like it. The other colours in here are absolutely beautiful as well. I did film a look using this, so I will link that down below along with any other looks that I filmed with any of these other palettes. I won't say it each time, I'll just link what there is down below for you. What's worth noting with this palette is there is no matte shades in here, they are all shimmery, so if you like your mattes, probably not the one for you. Next up is this one here. This is one of the I Heart Obsession palettes from the I Heart makeup line. Again, this is really cheap. And although it's not a direct dupe for the Naked 3 palette, I think that it bears a lot of resemblance to it. So there's some very similar shades and it's the same kind of colour scheme going on. So kind of rosy gold nudes. And although it doesn't look like it, I have reached for this palette so much. The shades I usually go for are this one here, this one and this one, creating kind of like a soft smoky eye. If you are after a direct dupe for the Naked 3 palette, check out their Iconic 3 palette. That is much more of a side-by-side comparison of every single shade instead of just the same kind of idea. But personally, I do actually prefer this palette to the Iconic 3. This one has got some mattes in as well. So the favourite style of palettes for me that they do are their Salvation palettes. I just love these things so much. Every time they release a new one, I just kind of get really excited. But there are three that I wanted to share with you today that I really love. Two of them in particular and a third one I think is a very good palette and a lot of you guys will like. So let's go with that one first, the one that I think a lot of you will like. This is What You Waiting For. And it just looks like this. So with the Salvation palettes, the bottom row with the round shades are all matte, and then the more these rectangle shades at the top, they're all shimmery. As you can see, this one contains a range of shades all the way down from the really light kind of subtle shades all the way down to these really dark black, smoky, bronzy kind of colours, and then everything in the nude kind of category in between. If you're looking for a really good nude palette, I would definitely recommend this one. And then for the two that excite me a little bit more, just because I think they're a little bit more interesting and unusual. So this one is the Ultimate Colour Chaos palette. So before I show it to you, you probably got some idea about some bright colours in your head. And you would be correct. This is jam-packed full of really bright, strong colours. And they're all really pigmented as well, which is rather fantastic. For me, I think this is kind of like a mix between the Urban Decay Electric palette and the Sleek Acid palette. It kind of has elements of both in there, but whilst being its own kind of thing. This is one of those palettes where there's just endless looks to be had out of it, and you could probably play with it for a couple of months and come up with a new look every single day just because of the great range in colours in here. It would be nice to see a black in there just kind of for definition and using in the crease. I quite often will pick out a black eyeshadow to use with this palette, but I'm not going to mark it down too much for that because it means there's room for an extra bright colour. Saying that though, these two, very similar. And the final Salvation palette that I have to share with you is potentially my favourite of the three that I've picked out. This one is the Give Them Nightmares palette. Again, it kind of mixes all of my favourite colours in there. It's got like the blues, the greens, the purples, but this time they're all in really dark, smoky kind of shades. But there is the odd bright one in here as well, so you can really pull a really nice kind of vampy, smoky look together with this. And although I've not been doing that so much lately, that is definitely something that I love to do. And this blue here, this matte blue, is absolutely stunning. Probably one of my favourite matte blues, if not my favourite matte blue in existence. And this time we've got the matte black and the matte white, which are really handy when pulling a look together. And finally, one of their Pro palettes. This is their newest release into the Pro palettes line. I think there's 3 or 4 available. I don't have all of them, I have a couple though. And the quality of the eyeshadows in them I do think is superior to the other palettes, but that's not to say the other palettes aren't good. These are just better. So this is the New-Trals versus New-Trals palette. I think this is a really, really good palette at the moment, not just because we're in autumn winter time, so it's got some really great shades for that, but the trend at the moment seems to be with the really warm eyes. And this palette gives you so many different options for creating that. There's a fantastic mix of shimmery, glittery, matte, pearl shades in here. There's quite a few different finishes. The reason I picked this specific one of the Pro palettes though is for this line here, the top one. Well, it's bottom now, but this is the right way up for the palette. I think a lot of these shades are quite unusual and not necessarily things that you're going to find in other palettes or in individual eyeshadows, and it's something that I was looking for. So to have like a nice selection of warm, terracotta-y, peachy, reddy kind of colours all together in one palette, I think is really, really awesome. So those are my favourite Makeup Revolution palettes. Let me know if you want me to do just a Makeup Revolution on the whole kind of favourites, because there's a lot of products from them that I really do love, but at the same time there is some duds as well that you want to watch out for. So let me know in the comments down below if that's something you'd like to see. I'd also love if you let me know what your favourite Makeup Revolution palette is, because they have so many, they can kind of get lost within each other sometimes. So there may be ones that you love that I've not even really acknowledged exist. I really hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Don't forget to subscribe down below if you like what you saw, and I will speak to you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye!